I'm just going to start streaming. Boo-woo! I think we're streaming.
Why?
Because people watch it for some reason.
Everyone watching this right now, go away.
All right, let's see. Make sure the stream comes up.
Go eat a delicious food. And
why not both? They could do both at the same time.
In the hour it takes to watch us, hour plus, you could watch like some incredible all-time great movie you haven't seen that you probably should have seen.
Nah.
You could start doing that right now, and you'll be done slightly after the episode is done. And that'll be how much better your life will be so much better if you do that. Why not do that? There's no reason not to do that.
That is Scott. Woo! Okay. Woo! I think we're good. Let's start. It's Monday, October 2nd, 2017. I'm Rym.
I am Scott.
And this is Spooky Geek Nights. Tonight, we're talking about terrors of technology.
Ooh.
I'm going to do, for those stinger bits for the patrons at the end, I'm going to do only spooky songs and Monster Mash. Oh, you were like, don't listen? The response there is, okay. But they're still here, whoever that is.
Why you don't listen? You hear, but you don't listen.
All right, that seems good.
What? If you hear, but you don't listen, we're going to start doing this whole episode. If you like it so much, why are you only hearing it and not listening to that, too?
There's more information in the video. Mm-hmm. You can see our faces. And whatever I'm looking at, you can see what I'm...
I mean, like, I told you to do something. You heard it, but you didn't listen to me. But now you're about to listen to a podcast, and in that podcast, I'm going to tell you to do things, and you're going to what? You're going to listen to those? If you're not going to listen to that, then...
The thing is, though, they can get ahead of the game because they can see on my screen the Wikipedia article I'm reading when it sounds like I know something. The magic of that is lost to people who just listen to the show. All right, let's see. That looks good. Live dashboard. Save this. Not that. Rance is going.
I got opening bits.
All right. You got an opening bit?
Yeah, I got tons.
All right, go for it.
All right, so yesterday was October the 1st.
Oh, yeah, didn't you go apple picking?
Yeah, so originally it was like, hey, let's go apple picking. Then it's like, wait a minute, let me search for the best place to go apple picking. Because usually when we live upstate, it's like, oh, we go to the nearby apple picking.
Yep, like
right?
just drive north and you hit apple fields.
Right, so
apple orchards.
You just go to the one nearby and they all have everything you want. Because everything you want is cider and
cider donuts.
Cider donut and apples. Those are the three things you want. And every single one of the places has those three things. And some of them have a maze. And maybe you want the maze or maybe not. And you get a pumpkin. All right, whatever.
Yep. Sometimes you buy some maze.
Because we're in the city, I had to pick one out. Like, which place is the best apple orchard?
And you know what? That's actually a tricky proposition because remember...
They all have delicious apples.
That time when we took the Taconic home from upstate back to New York instead of going the normal way on the thruway. Mm-hmm. And then we saw that farmer stand. We're like, oh, shit. And we stopped and bought some stuff. And then we passed 10 more farmer stands that were all way better than the one that we stopped at.
The one we stopped at had delicious apples. So
yeah, but the other ones had more stuff.
They looked fancier.
Yeah.
The farmers invested more in the construction of their stand. Anyway.
We made the mistake of going to the first one.
So I discovered, though, the Warwick Apple Fest. So Warwick is a town I've been looking at because it's near some lake houses, which I've been investigating. Right?
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, well, there's a giant apple fest. It's like the biggest apple fest ever every year. Let's go check it out. So... I'm just going to quickly talk about what happened there. So the Apple Fest itself is pretty much...
Wait, the way you phrased that, let's talk about what happened there.
Oh, yeah. So the Warwick Apple Fest is 99% white people.
That's okay.
And you know what?
It is upstate New York.
For an Apple Fest, there are surprisingly few apples at the Apple Fest. You could definitely get a pie there or a cider or whatever, but... Not a lot of apples at the Apple Fest. It's mostly craft fair, local businesses, people taking advantage of the fact the Apple Fest is happening, so they're throwing a tag sale on their front lawn because their house is in a great position. You know, the church is in such a great position, so the church ladies are out selling apple butter on the street.
Makes sense.
You know. So the thing is, when you think about those towny fairs, they're usually kind of small. This was like it didn't have any different stuff than other townie fairs, but it was substantial and crowded for one of those townie fairs. Like, whoa, you needed to park in the high school and take a shuttle bus.
Wow.
And it was hard to walk down the street.
Kind of sounds like the Oaxaca Festival back in Leroy.
And it took like more than 2 hours to see all the stuff. And there was some good stuff. There was an old lady who was way awesome. She was from New Jersey. And what she does is she collects T-shirts and sweatshirts.
All right.
And when she gets enough of them that are all sort of go together, she sews them together into a quilt.
Ooh.
And I needed a new couch blanket, and she happened to have one that had like 12 New York Rangers shirts sewn together from our failed Stanley Cup finals in 2014-15-ish. So I'm like, oh, whatever. It's better than the shitty blanket I got now, and it's actually way warm. So, anyway, so that was good. But then it's like, well, we wanted to go we wanted actual apples, right? And we couldn't really get any at the Apple Festival, oddly enough.
Well, yeah, I see mostly pictures. The only pictures here are pictures of the pie contest.
Yeah, there's a pie contest, eating and also baking. But we didn't hang around for that. Anyway, so I had previously researched, right, just in case I had thought of this, like, well, what if we can't get apples at the Apple Fest? So I researched the best nearby apple pickin', which was a place called Masker Orchards, like a person who wears a mask or a person who makes a mask. I don't know. So we go to Masker Orchards, and I found out, maybe Masker Orchards isn't so good because apparently it was the only one that lets you drive right up to the tree.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like,
that's a bad sign.
So I'm thinking that's just a place for lazy people to go apple picking, because normally you park, walk out, get apples, and walk back.
Yeah,
right?
and half the fun is just like walking around outside in the apple orchard.
But actually, while that is true that Masker Orchards was an apple orchard for lazy people, it was actually the most happening apple orchard.
Oh, look, they published their ripening schedule here.
Yeah, they just let you, because they just let you drive the fuck right up to the tree, right?
Yeah.
But actually, not only that, they just let you have free range like it's a public park. They don't give a shit, right? So people who knew better about Masker Orchards were literally just driving up their SUVs or pickup trucks, opening up the back, and having picnics all day in the apple orchard.
Ah.
And you can eat an apple in the apple orchard and they don't give a shit, right? You just can't. If you leave, though, they search your car for apples. And you got to pay. So it's $30 a bag when you leave with apples, right? But also, they had, the country store area, right? So in the country store area, they had the cider donuts, which were great, but not like the best ever, right? They also had pizza, which I didn't eat because I didn't know about it, but it didn't look like New York pizza. It was like a fluffy square kind of pizza. But whether you want to even call it pizza, it still looked like a legendary pizza. People were buying them like crazy, right? And cider. So I waited in line because I went into the country store area where you can pick up something and go to the register, and it was so crowded at this place that that country store didn't have apple cider. You had to go and wait in this line to get apple cider, and that was the same line to also get pizza and donuts and ice cream and pie by the slice with ice cream on it. And while I was waiting in line, the power went out. At the little stand, so I was waiting in this huge line just to get cider, and then I found out as we were leaving that when you pay for the apples,
you can just get cider at the exit.
You can get cider at the exit. They didn't tell me that in advance.
Scott, that's in their main fact.
Yeah, on the website. There was nowhere at the orchard to figure that out. But anyway, so I made a mistake.
Wait, so you went to a place without going to the website?
I went to the website to say what is best apple orchard. Anyway.
Oh, they even talk about the pizza.
Yeah. So if you want to go to the most happening apple orchard. Oh, I forgot the most important part. The Apple Festival, which is in the same town as this orchard, by the way. The orchard had no presence at the festival other than advertising in the guidebook. The Apple Festival is 99% of white people. The Apple Orchard, 90+% not a white people.
Ooh.
What is up with that? What can you explain? The not white people who are all happening know that you should just go to the Apple Orchard and have a picnic.
I don't know. The festival sounds like it's got a lot of that sort of country kitsch feel.
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely, it was a festival. It was fine.
Yeah, sounds
It's
good.
a festival is not a thing that I think you need to repeat.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, on one hand, I love apple picking, but on the other hand, because I have an oral allergy to pollen in apple skins, a lot of the joys of apple picking are lost on me. Because I can't just eat apples like I used to when I was young. But I can cook them and bake them. But if I get even one bag of apples,
Can't you just clean the apple because the pollen? Just clean the pollen.
so it impregnates the skin. I have to
What,
peel
peel
it.
it.
I can
Peel it.
peel them,
All right.
and then I can eat them just fine.
Okay.
Or I can
But
bake
apple
them.
skin is so delicious.
That's the problem.
Whatever.
Occasionally I'll eat apples, but usually I got to go to a place where I know there aren't birch trees.
What if you just
like,
nasal crammed and then ate an apple?
Well, so if I eat an apple, it won't kill me. And it's not like an allergy, like I'll get puffed up. Basically, my throat will swell up and make it hard to swallow for like 4 hours. That's it. But it doesn't get worse than that, no matter how many
Well,
apples I eat.
That'd be a problem because you'd eat an apple and then you'd go to the country store and you'd be like,
Yeah.
there'd be a pizza and a pie and a cider donut and your throat would be swelled up. So,
Yeah, that'd be trouble.
but yeah, if you are looking, I don't know if that's the ideal apple picking experience for everyone, but if you want to go to spend all day in an apple orchard just having a good time, partying, you can't grill out there, but you can do pretty much anything else. And such, and have, like a party apple orchard, I recommend this one.
All right. So, in some news, I don't really want to dwell on the mass shooting because they happen all the time in America.
What is there new to say? Don't shoot people.
I think the last new thing to say was after Sandy Hook, when we realized that even children being killed en masse was not enough for the government to do anything.
People want to shoot people. They don't care if someone else shot someone good.
Yep.
They're
So-
probably secretly at home being like, oh, it's good someone shot those kids. Yeah, because they're evil. That's how they are.
Or it's all a false flag. They're all crisis actors.
no,
and it didn't
I don't think they
happen.
actually, someone actually believes that, but I think
So because of
the
FARC,
true belief
I
is
know a lot about people who
they
think,
just like it when people get shot.
I know a lot about people who literally believe.
They just fantasize about shooting people, and if someone else shoots people, they like it.
But yeah,
they're
that
evil.
happened, and I don't know what you can do other than if you got into the habit of calling your senators and reps because of healthcare. Not a bad time to start doing the same thing over this because it's working a little bit.
Yeah, right.
No, there's some real. You don't read like 538 or anything. There's some evidence that it's having an effect.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, you're just choosing not to look at it. But anyway, in other news, so hacking's been in the news a lot lately because there've been a bunch of hacks, and also a lot of people are stupid and use guessable passwords, or use the same password everywhere, or log into their email on a public computer and don't log out.
Or very large, important organizations have really shitty IT.
Yep, but you can, to a bit wide extent, protect yourself from many of those things by having basic security practices. But this
Which you could
article-
learn if you listen to Geek Nights.
Yeah, which comes down to...
But if people only listen to hear Geek Nights, they don't listen to it, so they won't.
Use unique passwords. Don't give anyone your password ever. That two-factor. That alone will cover like 90% of the problems you're likely to run into.
That me. I do
But
that.
one of the biggest vulnerabilities today is the fact that most companies want to make money, obviously. They don't care that much about support. They don't care that much about really anything unless those things get in the way of making money. So they actually want to care a lot about the support experience because they want people to be happy and keep giving them money. A big part of that is that they try to reduce barriers to getting support. Like if you need help from, I don't know, your cable company because your cable stopped working, they want to make it real easy for you to get that help so that you won't just cancel the service. But to make it easy, it turns out that because most people are kind of stupid, they don't like to do things like put a password into the website where they have to go complain about their cable service not working. Or they don't want to have to like prove who they are on the phone before someone resets their password or unlocks their account. The end result of this is that most of the vulnerabilities out there that are trivial to exploit do not require much technology knowledge. They simply require trying to open a support ticket of some kind with a company, and eventually that company will probably just give you access to someone else's account.
You didn't read this article, did you?
So this article that I'm about to link to
Let's see if you read this. Or
goes
not.
to a much more specific example of using exploits in that kind of technology. Like, for example, the way you auto-register an account on a domain and how you can get companies to give you credentials to things that you shouldn't have access to through basically purely automated systems that rely on basic things like, oh, they have an email address at organization.com. That must be good. Never mind the fact that certain other magic number at organization.address.com will actually send a message to somewhere that is publicly accessible.
Right. So think about this, right? So let's say Craigslist has a Slack.
Yep.
Well, the Craigslist Slack will let you have an account if you have an email address at Craigslist, because who can get an email address at Craigslist unless you work for Craigslist?
Yep.
Right?
But
wait. Craigslist has a system of generating anonymous email addresses for people to help them do transactions anonymously.
Yep.
And those email addresses are at Craigslist. So if you get an email support ticket at like Time Warner, who knows where, right? Their support system might generate this email address that auto forwards to you to help you be anonymous, or just for your support ticket, it creates a brand new email address that sends emails to you, and that email address is at Time Warner, and now you can use this support ticket email address to log into like the Time Warner Slack, because who would have an email address at Time Warner except for a Time Warner employee? Well, the people with help desk tickets will have.
And this, social engineering is what we usually talk about.
No, this isn't social engineering. This is an actual vulnerability by not any individual product would have this problem. It's the fact that one organization with one domain, thinking false assumptions about the security of the domain, set up multiple products that combined together cause a problem in one or the other.
The reduction of friction, everyone out there wants it to be very easy for you to, if you're authorized to use something, click on a thing and it just works. Single sign-on and all these different methods.
Right.
But the prove who you are purely by the domain of your email address is shockingly common, and this is a very specific set of detailed examples of how these exploits can be used.
Yep, you set up one thing, and it's based on the assumption that, of course, everyone who has at frontrowcrew.com email addresses is someone we know and trust.
Yep.
And you set up another thing where it just automatically creates email addresses for people. It's like, oh, they both make sense on their own, and then when they're both installed on the same domain together, it's like, oopsie, I didn't realize that. Wasn't thinking about that.
Yep. And there's no good way around this, because the reality is almost any company that's small-ish or even medium-sized and they want to reduce friction for things like making accounts or proving identity, this is the kind of shit they're going to do, because the alternative is to set up complicated single sign-on mechanisms that require actual authentication of the person on the other side of the connection and not just some trivially spoofed credential that they might have.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much you can do about it, except if you start a small company, don't do this. But I wanted to give a very specific example of how these things work, because when people usually say hacking, as Scott and I often complain about, most hacking comes down to your password was easily guessed and or is the same across all the things you use.
Here's an example of a hacking that is, this is real hacking, right? You want to see a real example of real hacking? This is it. It is. It's not someone nefariously cracking codes with a black screen with green text. It's just something stupid like this.
But at the same time, this is social engineering adjacent, because
it's only because it has to do with the help desk.
Not just that, it's the same kind of workflow. So where a lot of this comes from is that a support desk will usually, especially in a middle-sized company, have processes for how credentials get figured out and identity gets proven. And a lot of the implementations of this kind of logic, the prove who you are with your email address, was in response to automating those workflows so that no one has to call a person on the phone, because the person is easily socially engineered. But because the workflows primarily mirror the thing that the person on the phone was doing anyway, they're just as vulnerable, but in a different way.
Mm.
So yeah, you got some news?
I don't have any news, but I do have a geek bite of this Apple Watch I bought. So I bought the new Apple Watch because they added the LTE feature, right?
Yep.
Which suddenly made the Apple Watch sound way good, and the Pebble Watch, with iPhone at least, was declining in quality.
Meanwhile, Pebble on Android is great. I don't know what I'll do when this thing breaks, because I love the hell out of it. But I bought a new watch.
You can't get an Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch, let's just go over quickly. Number one, they got some problems they still have not fixed with the actual LTE. The reason I bought it still doesn't work, Verizon.
Yep.
A lot of people have gotten it to work, but I still can't make it work. And I contacted Verizon, and they said, "Yeah, we know it's a problem. we have to fix it with Apple, and you'll hear from us when it's fixed. I tried it yesterday. It didn't work still, and I haven't heard from them. So, okay, at least I'm not paying $10 a month. So, that's okay. I'm not paying for the broken part, which is fine. But yeah, I guess a lot of the things I had to say about Apple Watch are things that are probably true of the first Apple Watch. So I'm not sure about the differences between 1, 2, and 3 because I only had 3.
Yep.
I never had 1 and 2.
And the only thing I can confirm is because the problem is you also, because you have an Apple device, smartwatches that aren't an Apple Watch are often crippled in many ways.
Yeah. So the first thing is that the ability to easily change. It's annoying that you have to buy an Apple Watch band, right? You can't just buy a standard watch band. But
yep, like even my Pebble uses.
Right, but standard watch bands actually are slightly annoying to remove and put back on.
What? They have that little...
Because you need a little tool and the little bars.
Standard watch bands I have an extra one sitting on my desk right here. Modern watch bands use this little bar.
Yeah, it's a little bar.
With a little button.
And you need
I just push the button and it comes off.
You need a tool to get in there and push the button.
No, you don't. Look, it sticks out. There's a little button.
I've always needed a tool to get in there and push the button.
You never had one that looked like that?
Yeah, it's the kind I have on my time watch. I cannot get it out without a tool because it's so small and pointy.
I can just take it off my Pebble. Oh, look at that. Oh, what happened?
Anyway.
How did you have trouble with this?
I've never been able to get one out without a tool. They even make a tool. If you go to the watch shop, they'll use a tool.
I just did it right here. I'll do it again. I'll put it back in. How did you have trouble with this?
I can never get one of those on or off without a tool. Anyway.
Look, it's back on. Oh, Jesus.
Congratulations.
Oh, look, I'll take the bottom. Oh, it's off.
The point is that Apple overcharges hella for these proprietary watch bands. They're like $50 each. It's bullshit, right?
What were you doing wrong?
If you go, nothing wrong. I know exactly how it works. I cannot physically get in there to push the button because it's so tiny.
Okay, that's crazy to me.
Okay. I don't have any fingernails either because I bit them all off.
I'll use my smallest fingernail, the one that I busted off. Oh, look. Oh, it's off.
I can't do it. Anyway.
Okay.
The point is,
can't get over this.
if you go on Amazon, you can actually buy Apple Watch bands made by other people that aren't Apple for like almost nothing. And actually, it's kind of nice to just be changing watch bands like, wee.
Oh, you mean like I've done for as long as I've worn watches?
I've never been able to easily change a watch band.
There's no tool that's needed for this.
I've always needed a tool.
I don't think you had the same kind of bar with the button.
It is. It's the same exact kind. I guarantee it.
This fascinates me, Scott.
Okay.
To no end.
The point is,
it'd be like
it's easier to change the app, even if I had a fingernail.
This would be like if imagine we had a mutual
friend. Can we
friend.
get off of this and talk more about Apple Watch and not about fingernails?
Imagine if we had a mutual friend like Skojo or something, and we just learned like he can't take seatbelts off without help. Like he just can't do it without a tool.
This is a little different. If a seatbelt was microscopic.
Scott, I'll just pop it off and on. I literally change my watch band every time I go running.
Anyway, most people cannot change the watch band so easily.
I am confident that anyone I hand this watch to, without prompting, can change the watch band in less than 10 seconds.
Anyway, let's talk about the other parts of the Apple Watch besides changing watch band, right?
But I feel like this is the most important part for you.
So it has a heart rate monitor that I'm not sure how good it is because I know nothing about heart rates or what a heart rate should be.
So the new Pebble that I didn't get was supposed to have that, and it doesn't.
And it works by basically shining a green light into your arm and detecting how much light is reflected black because blood absorbs green light.
What the useful thing about them is don't worry about the instantaneous rate because they're not that accurate. But
obviously,
you opt for trending, especially if you have like Strava Pro.
Well, it gives you what does it give you? It gives you what walking average resting rate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if those trend upward over a long period of time, go to a doctor.
I don't know. I don't understand.
If they trend down over a long period of time, like a way long period of time, also go to a doctor.
The battery, people were acting like the battery lasts like 1 day. The battery lasts like 2 days.
That's probably because your LTE isn't working.
It's probably a thing. But also, here's a thing that is bad. Here's a bad thing, right?
All right.
So I have the Strava app, which works. I push play on the watch. It starts recording. It's great.
Yep.
It seems like when I do that and I push start on my watch, it doesn't just tell my phone to start Strava-ing. It actually the watch does the Strava-ing and kills the fucking battery.
Well, because the idea is that people who do that want to just keep the watch and no phone.
That would be fine if I was out there with watch only, I would hope that it would say, oh, my phone isn't nearby. I guess I'll have to do the Strava myself with my own GPS and my own LTE. But if the phone is nearby, it should say, oh, the phone is here. Let me just tell the watch to do the Strava and save my fucking battery.
That is what my watch does.
That is
with
not what the
Strava.
Apple Watch does. If you push play on the watch, it uses the watch and kills the battery. So I'm only can push play on the watch in instances where I don't have the phone with me. So that's annoying. One good thing is the Pebble, even on iPhone, let me control music just fine, right? And the same thing with Apple Watch. It lets me control the music on the phone just fine, right? It can also play its own music, which I haven't done ever. I don't know why you'd want to. I guess if you had the wireless headphone, you would, but I don't have those. But there are additional features, right? The Pebble can only do forward, back, play, pause, stop, etc.
Yeah.
The Apple Watch, when I'm listening to a podcast, can do go forward 15 second, back 15 second, right? Which is, I've used that a ton. Like, oh, podcast advertisement starting 15 second, right? Without having to get my phone out and then push the button. So that's really nice. There's a Remember the Milk app that doesn't really work so well. It doesn't synchronize, but that's Remember the Milk's fault. One thing that's crazy good is that the Apple Pay is on the watch. I went to Dwayne Reed and I just sort of waved my arm and then they gave me stuff.
Well, same thing with the all the passes. Like when we went to the Rangers game, Emily just had it on her watch and just boop and got in.
All the Apple Passbook stuff is just on the watch. Like, it's like I could just walk in Madison Square Garden, like, look at my watch, let me in. Okay. So that's like, Pebble Watch definitely can't do that. Not even close. But yeah, it does a bunch of, at the expense of some battery life and some money. If you have an iPhone, it does a lot fancier, better stuff. Not everything works perfectly. Some of the things are not, the greatest. But overall, it's better than Pebble if you have iPhone. It just costs a lot of money. So if you want those betterness things, and you have money, then do it. I assume the LTE will be fine once it fucking works.
Yep.
But it doesn't right now.
Because the reality is that having a smartwatch, if you do stuff, is a really useful addition to your life.
The notifications are way more reliable, and also...
Which, again, is only a problem for you with the Pebble and the iPhone, because they're lockstep on the Pebble with Android.
They're just more reliable. I always see them every time, but also better than Pebble. You can reply to them, most of them anyway, and you can reply to them in very, very useful ways, right? So... if I reply to a text, I can draw on the screen to write words and then push send. No way, Pebble doesn't even have a touch screen, right? I can talk, which I think Pebble can do. You can talk at the watch, and then it'll turn into text and reply, which I can do that, but to any notification, like a tweet or a hangout or a text message.
That's something I really want to have, because
right?
with Google Glass, it did that really well. And that was one feature of Google Glass I used quite a bit, was responding to things and just talking, and it would type the message, and then I could just send it.
And the custom watch faces, and, I can start, I usually, if I go do laundry, I got to bring my phone to just set a timer so that when I know when the laundry's done. I can just do that on the watch now. Watch has timer.
Oh, you mean like my watch does?
The Pebble watch, you had to get an app to be a timer.
There was always a built-in timer.
I never used it, I guess.
It worked great.
But
actually,
also...
I used it for all our
It didn't
panels.
integrate with my phone. See, I think if I set the timer on, I don't know.
I just hit a button, bam, got a timer.
I haven't actually tested it. I wonder if I set the timer on the Apple Watch, will the phone ring when it's done or not?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. But there's a nicer timer than Pebble Watch.
Yep. But I feel like if you want a smartwatch...
Also, it does Siri shit, but I don't use Siri.
Regardless of if you get an iWatch or a non-iWatch, I feel like if you feel like you want a smartwatch at all, pretty much now's the time to buy, because I don't see them
they seem to have plateaued in their power.
Batteries, processing power, and material science together will limit any significant advancement in the usability of smartwatches for years to come.
Just do not buy official watch bands from Apple. They make you buy one. You can't get an Apple Watch.
I thought they were supposed to have Logic or something in them, but they don't.
No, it's just a band that has little plastic clips at the end to slide into the watch.
Yeah.
I thought they had Logic in them, which is why they were $50 plus, but no. So you have to get one because your Apple Watch must come with one. So pick the Apple Watch that comes with the one you like, and then buy a whole bunch of them on Amazon.
Yep.
Also, I've had a tiny wrist. I got the smaller Apple Watch. I didn't get the bigger one. And these watch bands fit way better. I'm actually using the third smallest hole and not the smallest hole.
Yeah,
So,
I use like some Barton, I think. Barton. That's where I buy, because I buy watch bands.
I just went on Amazon and got whatever.
I'm in the third smallest hole here, when usually I'm always on an extra smallest hole that I've cut myself.
Yeah.
So that's progress.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if are wrists just getting smaller, or are we finally being accommodated as a demographic with tiny wrists?
I just bought the smaller watch.
No. All right. So far, so good. Bunch of people watching the stream, but no one's chatting.
Is this stream working? Is this live stream offline?
Yeah, it's definitely live. No, because I'm not streaming it. That's all.
Oh.
I'm not watching it myself.
Mm.
But it says stream is healthy and all that biz.
Mm.
All right, let's see. I think it's because I paused it while it was still setting up, because I don't want to watch it here.
Mm.
All right. Things of the day.
I'm also using a bunch of bandwidth to upload stuff while I'm here.
Yeah, great. That doesn't matter. I got like 100 up, so it's fine.
I'm thinking about paying for more ups, but I'm concerned if I do it, will I actually get it?
Yeah,
because I get the bandwidth I pay for now, surprisingly, and it's only not worked like.
Let me see what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm still getting like 60 up.
That's the down.
That's down. I'll probably get the same. Usually it's symmetric. If I get whatever I get down, I'll get the same up.
Mm. You should go to fast.com. That's the best. Oh, okay. Go to fast.com.
Well, they're pretty much the same. This is
No,
the
no.
Google one.
Oh, the Google one?
Yeah.
I like the fast one is the Netflix one, so it's good for checking.
I've used that one.
It's good for checking net neutrality related issues.
Yep. Oh yeah. All right. Everyone in the chat is like, it's working. They just got nothing to say. They're just watching.
Why are they even paying attention? Why, if you're not if that's the limit of your attention, don't be here. Go do
They all
something.
chatted right away. They're definitely.
Go do something else.
All right. But anyway, things of the day. What do you got?
So there's in New York City, if you're in Queens, at least Western Queens, and you want to go to Brooklyn, you got to take a bridge because there's some water and there's also a highway and stuff.
And there aren't that many bridges, actually.
There's trains. There's stuff in the way. You can't get there without a bridge in Western Queens.
There's some poisonous water.
Or if you're in Western Brooklyn and you want to get to go north into Queens, there's two bridges. So there's the bridge we use 90% of the time, which is the Pulaski Bridge.
Because it's the one that's closest to the water.
They finally have an awesome. It had a shitty bike path that was mixed with pedestrians, but now they took a lane away from the cars, and there's an awesome bike path.
It's so great.
You can just fly over on your bike. Whee! It's the greatest, right? It's also the closest. We can walk there from here. It's so cllose.
Yep, and it's probably the most used by non-car people.
It's right near Hevino. You want to go there?
But I think we're going to cook tonight. But
I also have leftover Blue Apron.
But
anyway.
the problem with the Pulaski is that if you're driving, it connects busy non-freeway roads together. It's just like normal roads connected.
So anyway, there's another bridge over to the east a little bit called the Kosciusko something I can't pronounce properly. I'm sorry, bridge.
Kosciusko.
Anyway,
it's Polish, I assume.
What they did with this bridge is they replaced some of it with an awesome bridge of modernness that has that new design where there's like a triangle of cables. You know the design I'm talking about.
Yep. You see those bridges all over the world.
That's like the new bridge style. It's like the trend in bridge design these days, right?
If you don't have to span a huge distance?
It's basically one tower with a bunch of cables instead of two towers, right? Anyway, and then they're going to get rid of the old one and then replace the old one with a new one and now have double bridge.
Because that's the trouble with New York. You can't just tear down a bridge and then build a new one because millions of people use that bridge every day.
And they're even going to have, bike and pedestrian on there too. Right?
Yeah.
Once the other one's done. So, which is going to be great.
I biked over there a bunch to watch the construction because there were some big crazy crane things going on over time.
People have been driving on the new one for a while. And For a long time, they've been like, all right, we're going to blow up the old one. And then there's like, well, actually, we're not going to blow up the old one. We're just going to take it apart carefully. It's like, all right, they kept hemming and hawing and delaying and whatever. Finally, yesterday at 8 in the morning New York time, they energetically felled the old one.
Meaning they blew it up.
Basically, they blew it up in such a way that it would sort of fall apart and then just fall straight down. They did a good job. It worked. I was in bed at 8 a.m., but I knew that it was going to happen at 8 a.m.
Yep, I thought about going out to watch it, and then I didn't because I wanted to sleep in.
There's no way I'm going over there at 8 a.m. on Sunday. But I did listen, and I didn't even open my window because my window is actually really good at blocking sound.
Yep.
But I'm like, if it's really loud, I'll be able to hear it through the window. at 8 a.m., I definitely heard like some sort of exploding noise in the distance, even though my windows are closed.
Top comment here, I felt my apartment shake a mile away in Sunnyside. They don't mess around.
Nope.
Second comment, this is a shitty old bridge everyone hated. We were happy to see it go.
That's true also.
That bridge, if you like go look at that bridge, because
You can see it in the video. You can see the old one next to the new one. Also, this video starts out muted. Make sure you unmute it before you play it.
Yep, because it's worth it. Especially because when you watch the video, you'll see the explosion.
There's many videos of this. DJ Hammers even made a video of it, but this is the best video of this energetic felling that I have seen.
But if you think the Kosciusko Bridge looks shitty from a distance, I run under that thing a lot. It looks like it's a death trap. Like, it looks almost as bad as the Throg's Neck.
Yeah, people talk about infrastructure, right, and how we don't maintain it. Well, look, we did it at least in this one tiny spot. Hooray!
Yep. And it took a long time to get to this point.
Yeah, we this is how hard. It shouldn't be this hard, but at least we did something.
So, Scott, if you take a polarizer, like a linear polarizing filter, like in sunglasses, and you hold it up, it blocks what percentage of the light?
Depends on, isn't it like depend on rotation and where the light's coming from?
All right,
like if there's glare coming off a window onto your.
It depends on the phase of the light. So let's put it another way. If you have one that's oriented, say, vertically, and you put another one that's oriented 90 degrees, so it's perpendicular to that one, what happens?
You get zero light.
That's why if you put on good sunglasses, you probably can't read your cell phone screen if you hold it sideways because LCDs are polarized often.
Oh,
well,
I think I actually don't have that problem with my phone, but I do have the problem with my monitors. If I look at my monitors with sunglasses, I can't see anything.
With my cell phone, if I turn it 90 degrees, I literally cannot see anything because all of my glasses, I have them with vertical polarization. But I digress. What happens if you put a third filter in between the two at a 45-degree angle?
It's probably going to let some light through because some light gets through the first one, and the second one probably messes with the light. The second one messes with it in such a way that some of it will not be at the wrong angle anymore that the first one put it in, so it'll get through the third one.
Do you realize how crazy that sounds? You have a thing that you put up, and if you put another one at 90-degree angles, it blocks 100% of the light. But then if you put another filter, and the filter cannot add light, it can only block light. In between those two, light gets through again.
Well, okay, imagine like a hockey puck, right? And the hockey puck is horizontal, right? Okay, so we set up, a slit that's a horizontal slit.
That only lets horizontal hockey pucks through.
It gets horizontal hockey pucks.
So all vertical ones get blocked.
Right. So
what if after that...
The horizontal one goes through, and then we have another one that blocks horizontal ones and lets vertical ones, so now nothing gets through.
Yep.
But now imagine if the middle one sort of sends some of the hockey pucks
out of
whack.
No.
Some of them will end up vertical.
Nope. The analogy there would be in the middle of those two, you put one that has it's the shape of a hockey puck at an angle. Only angle pucks can get through it.
No, it knocks them around. It's not.
What do you mean knocks them around? No. So this video, because this is something that in theory, I've known since I took high school physics, but I never really grokked.
Light isn't a wave and a particle, so it's all fucked up.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just going to say, when I was a kid and I was in AP physics class, we had a similar problem, and the teacher was like, so why is light this way? And I was like, because it's both a wave and a particle.
Because light is fucked up.
And you know what he said? He said, yes, that's true, and also that's a stupid answer because that doesn't tell me shit.
It tells you that light is fucked the fuck up and never does the things that physical things do.
This video, for the first time, expresses in sufficient detail while simultaneously avoiding going too deep why this happens and why it's crazy.
All right, I'll have to watch it.
This video is really good. It's minute physics.
I'll learn more about particles and...
Yeah. But it also gets into, like, it shows you, like, hey, this is what happens. So here's something for you, Scott. What happens if you put, like, 10 filters in between the first one and the last one?
It depends which ones and which way they're angled and how...
Nope. Pretty much all the fucking light will get through now.
What?
Yeah. And they point out how fucking impossible that is and how basically...
How does it get... Okay, so wait, what if I took a vertical one and then a horizontal one? So now no light gets through.
No light gets through.
Then I add filters after. Can suddenly light reappear?
Watch this video. The video is like 17 minutes long. This is not trivial to explain.
That'd be like, I can't get through this wall. But if you add more walls behind this wall, now I can walk through them all.
The root of it is Bell's theorem, and it gets into something fascinating where the numbers don't even add up the way you'd expect them to. And the conclusion one can make is that there could not be a variable we don't know about that determines whether or not the filter will block a light particle. There cannot be an answer. It must be probabilistic, and it does a really good job of explaining why, and also why that question even matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of all the Minute Physics videos, because I love these videos. Like, this is a great channel. But...
Oh, Minute Physics. I thought you said metaphysics.
No, Minute Physics.
I was like, what?
But this one... I don't know. This one really it helped me with something that's bothered me for most of my adult life, and
the Rym. That's most of his adult life. He's laying in bed before bed each night. He's like, polarization.
You know what? So here's what would happen every time I was wearing my sunglasses out somewhere, and I picked up my phone to take a picture, and then I remembered, I can't see, and I did some of this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would think about this, and it would bother me again.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. This is a really good video. In the meta moment, the book club book is not the first, not the second, not the sixth, but the 5th season. I'm going to finish it hopefully before the next Thursday show.
How much did you read?
First chapter.
Great.
It's not that long.
I finished the whole thing.
I'll probably read it all this weekend.
A while ago.
I got some flights
I
coming
started
up.
reading the second one, but I held off because I play Metroid and some other video games, and also because I don't want to accidentally mess up my brain, because it picks up exactly where the first one ends, so I don't want to mess up my brain and mess up the podcast.
We made that mistake with Wheel of Time, because we both way overran that first book,
Mm-hmm.
and that colored my perceptions for good or ill.
Yep.
But yeah, I got a bunch of flights coming up this coming weekend, so I will probably have it done by Thursday. Next Thursday, not this Thursday.
Other things. Actually, this weekend, none of us will be there or have anything remotely to do with it, but the New York Comic Con is this weekend.
Yep. I actually met a lot of people who are desperate to get tickets, and they're all just buying them from bootleggers. And
apparently, New York Comic Con
or scalpers.
Apparently, New York Comic Con is even worse than ever before. They're having pre-event lotteries where you go online and there's a digital lottery that chooses whether you're going to get like some exclusive, swag or go to a panel or something based on these lotteries that happen before the convention even starts.
I guess lottery like that,
because you have to buy tickets from their special make an account thing. So now they're using those accounts to do these other sorts of lottery things.
If PAX's still had the problem where every panel had people waiting 3 hours plus to get into it and they all filled all the time, that would always make sense. Just do a lottery right there so no one has to wait for 3 hours.
I'm not into it.
What are you going to do? What's the alternative?
Wait for 3 hours.
Why? Why is that a good answer?
What's wrong with it?
So 3 hours for the panel. Have everyone show up who wants to go. Just do a lottery right there. And be like, you 400
getting in. The person who shows up and waits the longest is the person who wants to see it the most badly.
All right.
What teaches you a lesson for being dumb and waiting and wanting to go to that panel so bad.
What about the situation where there isn't a place to put a line for that long? What about the situation when
PAX
there are
has
3 1-hour panels, each of which has a 3-hour line waiting for it in the same place? The moral is don't wait in line for stuff at conventions.
And don't collect stupid swag.
Oh, yeah. But the real moral is the New York Comic Con is a soul-sucking nightmare that I, despite having free tickets to for years after I stopped going until eventually they stopped offering me the free tickets, and even though I could just take the subway right there, literally had no inclination
The next convention we are going to is the week before Thanksgiving. It is PAX Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged. We will be
It's going to be so lit.
Yeah. This is our fucking
The only
PAX.
thing bad about it is it's in stupid Pennsylvania, but that's... canceled out by the fact that it's easy to get to.
It's canceled out by the fact that it's way cheaper and easier to take a train to than Boston. The hotel costs like a third of what the hotel in Boston would cost. And it won't be freezing cold yet like Boston is. And we'll see if it has bag checks. I actually don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, I don't imagine it'll be big enough for bag checks. We'll see.
Yeah, but it's going to be lit for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it a lot more as it gets closer.
On the exact same weekend as PAX Unplugged is a convention we would be doing if it wasn't PAX Unplugged, and that's Anime NYC, the first ever Anime NYC. It looks like we know people who are going to be there and are working on it. So
if Anime Con
you
has a
are
chance,
an anime person and not a gaming con person, and you really want to see animes and not tabletop games, go to Anime NYC.
It is a who's who of people who know what, like they're like the kinds of people who we are friends with, who we'd sit around and talk about, man, you know what's bullshit about the way bad cons are run? Yeah, let's run it like PAX. Well, it's all those people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't promise it'll be great, but
it's the first one, and I trust the people.
yeah,
so
no
that's all I
anime
can
con
go. That's all I can go
has
on.
ever had as much of a chance as being the PAX of anime cons as this one.
Any other meta things? Make sure you come and find us on the internet and all the places that we exist on the internet.
Scott's YouTube channel has the first episode of our Judge Anime by its Cover series that we're going to continue doing on a regular basis.
YouTube channels, social media networks, things, Twitters, and our forum, our own website, frontrecruit.com.
A show that I used to appear on a long time ago, and I haven't because I've been busy. I made a guest appearance on the most recent Friday Night Party Line.
I'm surprised that still exists.
They're not only are they going strong, but they're on episode 134.
I'm surprised that still exists.
Yeah, it was super fun. I forgot how much fun it is to be on a podcast where, one, I don't have to plan shit. Someone else sends me a list of the topics, and if I don't have anything to say, I can just sit there and be quiet, and someone else has got to say something.
Oh, speaking of things, I didn't realize that Atomic Trivia War 9000 still exists.
Yeah, it's also pretty lit. I was on it a while. God, I
was on it some months ago. I completely forgot about it until just now. I think it was when you were out of town or something.
Yeah.
I was on it, and I basically was like, "Oh, that still exists? Okay, I'll be on it. Okay," and then. I wanted extra hard trivia, and they made extra hard trivia. But then when it was like actual Zelda trivia, I just tore it a new asshole. When it was trivia I actually knew, I was like, oh, okay.
What is the thing that Dodongo disliketh?
Is it fake smoke? Imitation smoke you put in the little remote electric trains?
So yeah,
what? Do I bet you'd like to have more of?
Well, the real answer in my heart is heart containers.
Cookies?
But I'll accept more bombs.
I bet you'd like to have some more.
All I got to say is, as a kid, I remember when I first met the guy who said, I bet you like to have more bombs. Because up until that point...
It's like, yes, I do bet.
Like, up until that point, I thought 4 was like fucking, or 8 or however many you could get. And I would I couldn't even imagine the possibility that I could expand that inventory slot like I could my hearts.
Yep. Oh, one last thing. Murder Ball, which is pretty much going way downhill, right?
Yep.
Not only is it going downhill in general, the New York Football Giants are 0-4.
You know what that means?
It is when they were so close to winning, like they lost two of those games on basically last second field goals. Right? The game that they just lost, I watched like only the very last second of it, and I was actually like hoping they would lose because it was so much better that way. But that doesn't matter. We're done with Murder Ball. Goodbye, Murder Ball.
Because it's time.
It is time. It is, I think, 2 or 3 days until hockey. Hockey is here.
Yup. I got to see if the Red Wings can recover from their reckoning. And if the Rangers can at least make it into the playoffs and put a good show
I think Rangers hockey starts in 3 days and NHL hockey starts in 2 days.
Yes.
So you're probably listening to this on October 3rd, most likely, even though we're recording it the night of October 2nd. Hockey is probably tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, baby.
God, the first article when I type Rangers hockey is Rangers in danger of underachieving.
It's possible.
Jimmy VC something, Kevin Hayes something.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yep. Thing is, as old as Lundqvist is, he still does those saves.
Yeah, we got some old people who are now a year older. You know, we got some new people who are untested.
Yep, one of whom appears to be a piece of shit.
But you know what? Oh, yeah, that guy? Fuck him, right? But can't be worse than the Giants.
No. And also, hockey causes less brain damage than Murder Ball.
Much less.
Yep.
And in fact, they could eliminate the hitting from hockey and people probably wouldn't give a shit. It would be no less I went to see some roller hockey to take photos of it like a week ago, and there was basically no hitting in that roller hockey, and it was fucking lit. It was, oh my God. And there's no spectators.
Scott, you should come to some NWHL games with us this year.
Well, they're a pain in the ass to get
No,
to.
they're in Jersey now. We just take the path over. We don't have to
That's a pain
drive.
in the ass to get to.
It's pretty easy.
I have to go through hell, literally, to get there.
Yeah, but then you get see some pretty good hockey.
Bring in I was able to bicycle and pay zero money to see the roller hockey.
We could bicycle. We could go up over the GWB.
Yeah, no.
That'd be a fun ride.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, we decided, for good or ill, I'm just going to warn you guys, because this is the first show we've done in October, that regardless of what our topic is for this entire month, we're going to force ourselves to try to make it spooky themed in some
and
capacity.
we're all spooky podcasts all of October. And also, you should know the Halloween is the anniversary of Geek Nights. The first non-beta Geek Nights was technically a Halloween episode.
So we released...
in 2005, and it is now 2017, so this is, I guess, 12 years, because 17 minus 5 is 12.
Yep, the full story is on November 1st, we released the first episode of Geek Nights to the public, not just to the beta listeners. And then, the next day, I re-listened to the beta episode we recorded the previous day on the 31st, and I decided it was above the line of quality. So I uploaded it and retroactively posted it. And that is why the first episode of Geek Nights was the second one published. And that'll be a trivia question someday, somewhere.
No, it won't be. But, all right, spooky technology. What the hell is spooky about technology? This is all you. I had the idea, but I didn't have any actual content, but you wanted to go with it anyway.
I got a bunch of ways I could take this. So, one time... I
saw a ghost.
I was in my office at IBM a long time ago. And there was a problem with the DHCP network on a network that I was ostensibly responsible for. Some of the devices on the network could not get IP addresses. But some of them could.
Was it out of IP addresses? Was it like the block was 255 and there was more than that many devices?
So there was nothing like that. Like I did some investigation.
So it stopped giving out new addresses?
Like I got some logs from the DHCP server, which I administered, so that was easy.
Yeah.
And it had plenty of space and everything was fine there.
Okay.
And there's no like network tickets. So I starts to investigate. So I go down to the lab and I start going to individual machines and just trying to do like a release renew or an if config just to see what's going on.
That sounds good.
I got all these Linux boxes. I deployed all these like Linux thin clients.
And then a ghost came out of the computer and said, "Woo, I have your MAC addresses, woo."
So what that meant was because I made these machines, there was a back door, so I could basically go to one and do a thing and then enter my credentials and just get a console and I could just like start fucking around with the network stuff. So I start like checking out and the DHCP server's working fine. So I do a packet capture just in case and everything looks fine. Like I see the ad, like the DHCP is all happening. So the problem's still occurring. So then I go to another one of my thin clients somewhere else on the same like physical network. And I do the DHCP renew, and it fails. It just times out.
It was too far away from the DHCP server. It didn't reach in time.
So then I go and I look behind the computer, and I see
the wires.
And I see that there's a wire plugged into the back.
And there was slime on it.
And there's a link light. But the link light looks weird.
What?
So I unplug it, and the light turns off, and I hear a click. And I plug it back in, and... after like 4 seconds, there's a click, and the light turns back on. So then I follow the cable, and it goes to an adapter to a big fucking token ring connector that's plugged into the wall.
Dun dun.
It was token ring.
Dun dun.
So
spooky token ring.
The DHCP is not working, and it was working before at some point.
You use DHCP on token ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Token ring's a low.
I know the token ring is a lower level of the OSI stack, and you can do that, but I feel like you shouldn't.
Yeah, you want to hear some terror stories? We can talk a lot about MAUs, multi-access units. That's the equivalent.
Is that on the same level as token ring?
That is the equivalent of a hub or a switch for token ring.
Oh, okay.
They're really complicated. They have relays in them. That's the click.
Oh.
Literally relays to add the device to the ring or remove the device from the ring physically. So I want to do a packet capture on the actual token ring network to see what's going on. There's no way to do that.
You got to use your trap after you zap it with your proton.
So I go to my boss and I say, "What can I do?" And he looks at me and he gets this wry smile and he says, "Follow me."
Oh, the boss knew what to do.
So he takes me into a part of the data center I've never been before.
The containment unit.
And in this room
is an EPA guy with no dick.
He hands me a device that looks like a fucking Ghostbusters trap.
Is it a Fluke? Is it made by the Fluke company?
No, we had Flukes. And he says, "This is the only known device to do packet capture on the token ring network." And I say, "What is it?" And he says, "This is a portable computer from before you existed."
From before 1982?
I don't know how old they actually are. But so he opens it, and sure enough, this big fucking metal box is actually a computer. Like this keyboard comes out of it. It's got an orange phosphor screen.
Mm-hmm.
And we boot it, and it has some packet capture software on it.
Okay.
And it has token ring connectors in
And
the
this
back.
guy, his boss actually knew that that's what that was and knew how to use it?
Yep.
Okay.
So I take it out there.
And it worked?
So I take it out there, and I start doing packet capture on a fucking token ring network. And I'm looking at the packets, and sure enough, some of the DHCP requests are working fine. And some of them, the DHCP server is sending the address back, and the machine just is acting like it didn't get it at the low level. And I don't understand. Even with the packet capture, I don't understand.
It needs a new token ring card.
And then I noticed something. Some of the packets on the network were 802.3 frames. Some of the packets on the network were Ethernet 2 frames. The old devices were using Ethernet 2. The new devices, like the DHCP server, were using 802.3. And the old devices were incapable of handling both formats. And if you need to know the details of what the difference is between those two, fuck you. That is so not interesting. And I don't want to talk about it.
But did the packet capture machine, how did that one do?
Packet capture didn't give a fuck.
Oh, okay.
Packet capture was like, here's the packets.
Okay.
And I was looking at the bytes, and I was decoding the headers. And that's when I noticed, because I forget, but there's like a length field in Ethernet, no, in 802.3, but there's a type field at the same byte location in Ethernet 2. I don't fucking remember. This was a long goddamn time ago.
I have to do that again. But I really want to see that. I want to see that
lived in.
capturing computer. That'd be awesome.
I'll try. I might have taken a picture of it. I'll try to find that. But
I
yeah,
don't think you had a phone with a camera then.
I had a phone with a camera that I was not allowed to bring anywhere because you couldn't have phones in the facility. Also, even though I'd taken a picture with that camera, I could not have gotten the picture off my phone because I didn't have the weird cable.
So you don't have a picture of it.
But I might have taken a picture with my fucking actual camera
Okay.
because I took pictures of stuff because working at IBM, that was like a crazy world of ancient technology. So the ghost was
Maybe
the
we can just
frames.
search for token ring packet capture and find a picture of it.
So yeah, that was one avenue I had to take with this show of tell IT troubleshooting stories like they're ghost stories.
Yeah. You added no ghostiness whatsoever. Only I did, and it was only bad jokes.
It was more just the investigation of it. And then I opened the door, and there was a missing cable.
Yeah, I don't have any scary technology stories, really. Here's my scary technology story. Ready? All right, here's here. It's real scary, right? So when I was in kindergarten, there was an Apple II. Oh, baby, the Apple II. And I said, when I saw that Apple II, I said, you know what? I've never seen that before, but every minute you let me touch that, I'm going to touch that.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to do computer. I was like, oh, baby, computer, right? And then for my whole life, all the way, even when I had a computer in high school and even in college, the internet was so fast. Oh, my God, I just wanted a computer. Any second I could computer. Even when it was like, I got to use some shitty old Solaris machine in the CS lab at RIT.
Yep.
I was so excited to just use a different kind of computer. It was novel. I could learn stuff about it. Oh, man. And then, after actually having a job where I have to sit at a computer for 8 hours a day, every day, I don't want to sit at a computer no more. And life is lame. And everything is gone. And that's the scariest thing of all.
All right, I think it was, it might not have been this exact one, but it was a compact 386 of some kind.
Okay, so it's not that old.
No.
I've seen those.
Yep.
You could run Windows on that.
20 megahertz on a 386.
That seems right.
Had a floppy drive. Yeah, supports Windows 3.1. Windows was not on this thing.
No, but you could play Doom on that easily. Easy Doom. Easy Doom.
I think the ISA bus had the token ring card in it.
Ooh, ISA.
Yeah, ISA.
Woo!
Bitches. PCI came way later.
Yeah, everyone now has your computer has a PCI Express, maybe more than one of them that's X16 for your video card.
Then you might have an X4.
Then it has some regular PCI Expresses. Back in the day, we had ISA
and PCI.
And then they added PCI. It was like, holy shit. And then AGP.
And then AGP had a bunch of different flavors, and also AGP had 3 different mutually incompatible voltage standards.
Oh yeah.
You could fuck up a computer bad if you messed up with AGP.
Mm-hmm.
ISA cards. So when I had my old computer, here's a horror story for the young kids today. Computers used to not have any way to connect them to networks. So
yeah, motherboards today have like Ethernet cards built in, and some of them even have Wi-Fi built in. It used to be you had to buy an Ethernet card, or buy a modem. I had a USB dial-up modem.
You had an RS-232 and maybe a parallel port you could plug shit into.
Yep.
And so when we had a modem, a 33.6 modem, and before that we had a 2400 baud modem.
We had a 14.4 modem, but then I got a 56K modem.
Oh, I never had a 56K.
I went from 14.4 to 56K. I basically was always one step ahead. Like everyone else had a 386, and I got a 486 with a 14.4 modem. And then everyone else had a Pentium 2, and I got a Pentium 3 with a TNT 2 and a 56K modem. And I was always one step ahead.
See, we had the 2400 baud modem that I used to dial into BBS.
The thing is, was I really one step ahead, or was I actually just buying a computer 1 year after everyone else?
Yeah.
Everyone else had Pentium 2s, while I had a 100 megahertz 486. And then a year later, I'm like, all right, enough of that.
But so the reason I didn't upgrade to a 56K from a 33.6 is because cable modems, like early ass beta cable modems, got rolled out to my whole neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't think we could have gotten one.
I had a cable modem way early.
There were people in town who had them, but we did not have one.
So when we got a cable modem, we needed to plug an Ethernet into the computer, and we didn't fucking have that. So we only had one PCI card or one PCI slot in the computer. So we got an ISA network card.
Ooh, I had PCI network card.
But we also already had, because I upgraded because I was really into music production even way back then. So my parents, like as a huge gift, got me an all 32 sound card, which was also ISA. So
in that Pentium 3, I got a Sound Blaster Live.
Yeah, Sound Blaster Live I bought for RIT.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually was kind of, in retrospect, the Sound Blaster Live was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
the Sound Blaster 16 I had before that was way better.
But it was fully backward compatible with the old Sound Blaster stuff.
Yes.
Which mattered to no one unless they did MIDI, pretty much.
It mattered when I had DOS.
Yeah, that too.
It mattered when I ran Linux in 1999.
But the horror story is when I got broadband, if I was downloading a file or visited a website while I was playing music through Winamp, because of the nature of the ISA bus, the music would stutter as packets came in over the network card. So I had to do some shenanigans to upgrade to get around that problem, and none of you will ever experience that nightmare. Wow, the show's almost gone an hour. We could just stop.
I don't have I had the idea to do a show with spooky technology stories, but I don't actually have spooky technology stories.
I have a bunch that are only spooky in the sense of problems that couldn't be reproduced that were agonizingly difficult to deal with.
I'm sure there might have been one of those, and I may have discussed them on the episode of GeekNights around the time they happened, if they happened within the past 12 years, or I've just completely forgotten them because my memory I don't remember any of that worthless nonsense.
Yep. Whatever. The other way we could have gone with the show is we thought about talking about technology that scares us. Like
the problem is not a lot scares me.
Nuclear technology, like nuclear weapons.
Yeah, don't go near it and don't use it on me.
Yeah. Or what about
anyone?
What about all the stuff in the show Black Mirror, like the technology that might fuck up society and or us?
I mean, I haven't watched that show, but I've read enough sci-fi things, and I'm not really scared of them.
Yeah, but they are scary, even if not to us personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there who are scared of cute bunnies, even though they're not scary.
Yeah. Well,
does that mean that cute bunnies are scary?
Yeah, all the people who aren't afraid of bunnies and Monty Python and the Holy Grail, we saw what happened to them.
I
think we can just stop.
Yeah, I think so too. We can do the other.